States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the first item of business is the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is A1, and this is the submission of the town council meeting minutes of October 20th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second?
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is the public hearing for David F. Carney of 5 Clifton Avenue Road. And this is a request for our license to maintain town property.
We do have two items, one from the Cemetery Commission, which we did reach out to for their recommendation, and also from, with the same reason, from the administrator to continue this to our next meeting. Reason why is the Cemetery Commission did not have an opportunity to meet prior to this meeting. So we will, with this council's approval, continue to our next meeting.
Make a motion to continue.
Second?
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to continue to our next meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on public hearing is B2, and this is for the intoxicating beverage license renewals for 2021, 2022.
Any discussion on this item?
I move that we approve them, just.
Public hearings
Public
Oh, it's a
hearing?
public hearing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, public hearing.
open.
That would be really important as part of a public
Yeah.
hearing. I agree.
Sorry about that.
Excellent.
We're just gonna-
Outstanding. And thank you for
That was
reminding
If you
Yeah.
want to pull E1 and do it right at the same time.
That's all right.
We'll go right
I
in.
was forgetting that's what we were doing.
We'll go right into the public hearing. So as the clerk pointed out, and then pointed out again, because I didn't hear it the first time, this is a public hearing. So I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak against? Is there anyone here to speak against? Is there anyone here to speak against?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item of business.
So they,
Do you want to pull E1?
well, did they vote? They have to actually vote.
No, because it's on for E1.
I'm
Unless they-
sorry, okay. Yeah, it might, Mr. Chairman, it might make sense just to go to E1 at this point.
So can we have a motion to move E1 forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. So E1 is now forward, which is the approval of the renewals.
Correct.
Mr. Solicitor, sorry, go ahead, Mary.
No, go ahead, Tim.
So, Mike, I was just wondering if you could have some help with this. I know that we had some establishments that we were still waiting on. Some of the like renewals.
What you do is you approve everything,
Okay,
and then the clerk's office holds the license and does not issue them until all of those conditions have been met.
okay,
So
Great.
you would grant the clerk's office issues, and if they don't meet the items, they don't get their license.
Mike, real quick for the public, an example or examples of,
So
Conditions.
certificates of good standing from the Division of Taxation, certificates from the Department of Health, payment of taxes, all of the items that are required under your ordinance, which it's a privilege to have a liquor license, and we require that they be up to date with taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So
great. Was solicitor's help and based on the positive recommendations, make a motion to approve the intoxicating beverage license renewals for 2021, 2022.
and can you just add as presented in the agenda?
So
As-
moved,
As presented. in the
as
agenda.
presented.
Second.
motion made by Tim, seconded by Mary to approve as presented in the agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is C1, and this is ordinance 2021-19. This is chapter 16 to the motor vehicles and traffic. And this is to establish a patron's lot for short-term parking, an employee lot, and Patreon lot for long-term parking, and it's the second reading for adoption.
So before we take next steps on this, Mr. Administrator, I'm just going to ask you to refresh the council and the public's memory on what this new ordinance was achieving.
Sure. So we have a lease signed in the outfit of the new office space for the school district is moving along. They intend to move in right after Christmas, during Christmas recess for the school district to the second floor of Reynolds School. And this would allow some parking spaces at the Reynolds School property, 235 High Street. So this would include that property, Reynolds School, along with the other employee lots for daytime only, 8 to 4:30, as the other municipal employee lots are 8 to 4:30. So evenings, they're still open to the public and weekends.
Perfect. Is there any questions from the council? No. What's this council's pleasure?
Make a motion to adopt the second reading.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to adopt. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is C2, and this is ordinance 2021-20, and this is for chapter 17 for the alcohol beverage establishments, and this is to increase the number of Class B limited licenses from 5 to 6, and this is first reading.
I make a motion. This constitutes first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim, that this constitutes first reading. And just for clarity, this was a response to our discussion at our last meeting for the establishment potentially, or actually, on Wood Street. So, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is C3, and this is ordinance 2021-21, chapter 16 to motor vehicles and traffic, and this is for parking time limited to designated places and restricted parking on school days, and this is first reading.
Motion to approve first reading.
Second, and obviously this is not, we'll wait for the second reading for discussion.
There may be a couple of questions, so please ask your question.
Well, just maybe clarification that would help when the second reading comes around is on that first paragraph, right under 16-146. I'm a little confused because it does not state locations. I know we striked everything else in between. So I'm a little unclear on that, just as it stands by itself right now.
We'll address that between
Okay.
now and the next.
Perfect. Was
Thank
there any
you.
other?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I don't know who I addressed this to, maybe the solicitor, but I noticed that on section A7, it refers to that area that's right in front of Our Lady of Mount Carmel School. It's a no parking section between 8 and 9 o'clock. I just wasn't sure if there was any effort to do any outreach to school to, ensure that that might not disrupt pickups and drop-offs and things like that.
So why don't we do this? Let's make it the requirement that at our next council meeting, maybe we can get some feedback to make sure that the school was reached out to and that there's clarity to Tony's initial question.
We're striking.
Unless,
But-
Mr. Administrator, you can answer.
If I may, this was just a cleanup of ordinances that were no longer posted and there was no intention to remove parking from Our Lady of Mount Carmel's Byfield School, in front of Byfield. But there isn't any reference to that area, State Street. The three areas were in front of the old Bristol County Sheriff's Office. There was an ability for the police chief to create 4 parking spaces for the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department have been long gone. So we're trying to clear up some old ordinances. The other 2 was on the side of Byfield, so that was Church Street. On the south side of Byfield, there was a pickup zone there, pickup only. And the third one was in front of Byfield School between 8 and 9 a.m. for pickup. But
So the Church Street side, not the State Street side. So maybe you were considering Wally, or is that, or
Well,
tell us.
the number 7 is crossed out.
yeah, you know what?
We're striking, right?
Yeah.
Well, you may have a point here. I think when this was, it may be an error in amendment, but that wasn't the intention.
Never let it be said we don't read our packet before the meeting, right? So, Mr. Solicitor, hearing these questions, is
I have a
this
suggestion.
substantive enough to?
Let's continue first reading to the
Excellent.
next, and let's clarify some of the issues that, since you all did your job reading this, let's get it right the first time.
Excellent. So is council okay with continuing this to the next meeting?
Yep.
Excellent.
Amend my motion to continue this ordinance, the first reading to December 1st.
I think I had seconded that. Right.
And I'll take that as a second from Tony. So we had a motion from Tim, seconded by Tony,
Right.
to continue to our next meeting for clarity on the questions stated. Any discussion other than what's already happened? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is C4, and this is ordinance 2021-22, and this is for chapter 24, and this is in regard to the renewal of the plastic bag ordinance.
So this was caught, I forgot by who?
By Melissa.
Melissa, our clerk, thank you.
Which was brought up by somebody else. I'm not going to take credit for that.
Well-
It was the
Conservation
Conservation
Commission.
Commission. Yes.
Well, thank you.
So
That's,
there was a sunset clause in your plastic bag ordinance, which took effect January 1, 2019, but the sunset was December 31, 2020. And my office should have provided you with a renewal prior to that. So we're going to do it now. But in the meantime, the executive orders, because of COVID, actually suspended the plastic bag requirements. So no harm, no foul, but I recommend that you adopt this introduction this evening so that December 1st, you can place this ordinance back into the position it needs to be in.
It's a good timing. Motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is D1, and this is Michelle Martins for the Bristol 4th of July Committee. And this is a request for one-day dancing and entertainment license for the Jingle Mingle event to be held on December 3rd, 2021.
I make a motion, we approve it and follow all the instructions or the recommendations by the police.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve following those recommendations. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, next item on the agenda is E2, and this is the Sunday sales license renewals for 2021 through 2022.
Motion to approve the Sunday sales license renewals for 2021-22.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion?
Just briefly, I know that there is a couple of statements made by Lieutenant Wasney, if I'm not mistaken, regarding compliance, that we've had some issues and making sure that next time we able to exercise some, I don't want to call it to be,
To take action. if they-
Yes, to
if they
take
don't-
action.
If they have another situation.
very good. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Excellent.
Yes,
Anything else?
that'll be all. Thank you.
Hearing nothing else, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is E3, and this is the vitrilling license renewals for 2021 through 2022.
I move that we approve the renewals.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Tim to approve. Any discussion?
Yes, I do. I'm just trying to catch up. We have so many
I didn't really
ones.
mean that. I was just kind of being nice.
I noticed that we have some of them that have machines that we sort of missed. Was that intentionally?
What do you mean machines?
Um,
Oh, this is, on the gaming. you mean.
Yes, on the
This is on
gaming.
the food. The
Oops,
vitro-
sorry.
Vitrilling.
Okay, nope, skip that one then.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion?
No, you do better than I. because I
Mhm.
was-
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Yes.
opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, next item on the agenda is E4, and this is the additional hour license renewals for 2021, 2022.
Based on positive recommendations, make a motion to approve the additional hours for 2021-22.
Second, with a question about clarification for Cumberland Farms. They have a request for 24 hours, 24-hour opening, yeah, but I see that they also state 6 to 4 or 4 to 6, I should say. I'm trying to catch up on that. But it's a little unclear. Are they on for, I'm sorry. Okay, guys, we got so much stuff on this that. Is anybody caught up on that one? Yeah.
So on the
I mean,
Cumberland Farms, the hours of operation stated on the petition is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right, so these are for the additional hours because this wouldn't, so technically they would be open 24 hours. Their additional hours would be between 5 AM to 6 AM.
Six.
Right, so the additional hours, anyone who applies for a 24-hour license, what they're actually applying for is operations between 2 AM and 6 AM. Because otherwise, between 6 AM and 2 AM, the other way, they're allowed to stay open. But for those extra 4 hours in the wee hours of the night, they need permission. Now, that doesn't mean they have to stay open 24 hours. They could stay open 21 or 22.
Got it.
But since there's no license for 21 or 22, we have to give them a 24-hour license, but they abide by whatever restrictions they have in their application.
Got it.
And I don't think there was any change there. That's how it's
No
been,
change.
right?
Right, it was just a little unclear, but I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a busy week and I was wondering if I could apply for extra hours in the week. I would, and if we could give it, I would be a big fan. So, all right, so motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E5, and this is for the amusement device license renewals for 2021 through 2022.
I make a motion, we approve it, and then I have a question.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to approve. Discussion.
Yes, as I went through them, I noticed that some of them have 2 machines, but there is no fee in there. Specifically Bristol Golf Club. They have 2 machines. Should they be a $200 fee in there on their block?
Oh, it is. in
You know
this.
what it
It is
says
in
in-
this. Tony, in this
That one?
page, it has,
Okay.
I think that's,
Yes, it does list
yeah.
the
Okay.
$200 fee on
You're
it.
looking at the other sheet, okay.
I know there's
Because
a lot of sheets. in
I was
there.
walking through these here and I'm going,
Yeah.
okay, something missing here. Okay, as long as it got picked up elsewhere, that's what it matters.
It is a $200 fee that we haven't received the payment yet, and so we normally write it down when we receive the
So you
payment.
check
just
it
to
off
kind
as
of
you
to check
receive.
off. So that's
Got it.
more of an internal process that we do, but
Okay.
they are charged the.
Super, as
Yeah,
long as
like-
we pick them up someplace, that's all.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, so we had a motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the holiday sales license renewals for 2021 through 2022.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is F1, and this is Michelle Martins for the 4th of July Committee, and this is the request for the Maritime Center to hold a jingle mingle, and this is the permission to sell and use of alcoholic beverages.
Based on all the positive recommendations, make a motion to approve.
Second,
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is G1, and this is the appointments. This is the Bristol Prevention Coalition. We have 2 resignations, one from Michael Burns and one from Christine Bandoni.
Make a motion to accept both resignations with a letter of thanks. And additionally, we should go out to advertise for the position.
Second,
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony, as discussed. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item of business is I1, and this is Community Development Director Diane Williamson and Principal Planner Ed Tanner, and this is in regards to the Rhode Island DEM Recreation Development grant for the Bristol Golf Course.
Hi, Diane. Hi, Ed. So I understand this is kind of our last piece of this, right?
It is.
And
It
that's a
is.
good thing that it's our last piece because we find in completion and we have something beautiful.
That's right.
So-
And so Ed's been doing a really great job of managing this project. So he's gonna just go over the finer points of this, what's on your agenda for tonight. And we will ultimately need your approval to apply for this grant. So,
We got to get that in our TVs. We really, no, what I mean is a digital copy, you
Yes.
know, so. you gotta-
I can get it for you.
Yeah, we'll keep working on that. So, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. It's been a while since I've been before you. Nice to see you all in
Nice
Good to
person.
see you.
Nice to see you too.
This evening, I'd just like to speak to you regarding the Bristol Golf Course. There's a recreation grant that the DEM announced a few weeks ago. It's due in mid-December. And one of their requirements to apply for the grant is that the project be discussed in public at a public meeting, and also that the council vote to allow us to apply for the grant. So I will give you as much or as little information as you'd like, but I mean, overall, we all know that the Bristol Golf Course project has been going on for a few years now. We've received several grants already to do most of the work. At its heart, it's a water quality, flood control, habitat restoration project, but with the goal of also having a playable, quality golf course, so an improved golf course. So to that end, you know, I've been before you and Diane in the past, but we have a reconfigured layout of the golf course. Much of that work was done in the last year and a half. What we called phase one was everything on the south end of the project, the southern end of the property below Broad Common Road. And that included a lot of the stormwater management, wetlands restoration areas. We restored some ponds and some, they're not really streams, there's more of swales. Planted over 2,000 plants with members of Save the Bay and their volunteers, Save Bristol Harbor, the Conservation Commission, a lot of just local residents who got, you know, the word was out. You saw probably some newspaper articles. So we had a really successful phase one that was funded through EPA grant, through the SNEP program, and also through a DEM 319 program. We also just recently completed phase two. In this past summer. That was everything north of Broad Common Road between next to Tupelo Street. That was funded through the Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank, through the Municipal Resiliency Program that I know everybody participated in some meetings with that Diane was spearheading. So through that effort, we received some grant money to finish phase two. And in all of each of those phases, we improved the golf course as well. So as we did the wetland restoration piece, and as we did the habitat restoration piece, we were able to reconfigure the golf course. We have a golf course architect who has spent a lot of time, and he's proud to try to make this no longer the worst golf course in America, but you know, something that the town will be proud of and that will be an amenity for the town. We've been working with the recreation department to try to figure out ways and to talk about ways to incorporate this into the rec programs, you know, summer camp. Sometimes the kids go off and play tennis. Maybe now they can go off and play golf. There's a lot of different opportunities there, and we've you know, brainstormed a lot of ideas. So why am I here tonight? Tonight is sort of as the chairman mentioned, this is what we consider the last piece, what we're calling phase three. It's the middle. The middle of the course is mostly high and dry, and it was difficult to fund any of the work there through the previous grants. They're just not programmed for that type of activity. This grant, however, the timing is perfect. We can show progress in what we've already done, how we've successfully done what we said we were going to do, and you know, wisely used their grant funds, go back to DEM and say, now this piece is for recreation. We want to fix, most people will, if you've ever golfed there before, when you're on Broad Common and you look to the south, sort of up the hill, that's the fourth hole going up. And what used to be the eighth could be the ninth coming down the hill close to Broad Common. We want to realign those holes. If you recall, there used to be netting along Broad Common Road because the green is for that fourth hole is very close to the road and people slice. And when you're coming down that eighth or ninth hole, our new configuration could go either way. you're literally shooting at each other.
Hmm.
So what we're calling for is a new tee box sort of to the east of the trees that separate the golf course from the industrial park. There's a grove of trees there. We're looking at putting a new tee box lower and moving this green more to the central location in the property. So it'll be a reconfigured line of play, safer, better line of play, better experience for the golfer. And as part of this, there's a couple of tee boxes on 5 and 6 that are could use some work. They're just the way that they're laid out and their height. So our architect has sort of drawn up the plans for that. And we'll be improving some of the irrigation. We've done a lot of irrigation work as we've gone along, but this piece, as I mentioned, it's working. We had an irrigation audit done, and the council will recall that at the last meeting, we had gone out for an RFP for a new pump for the irrigation system. So that's part of the infrastructure to keep the golf course, to sort of protect our investment. And obviously, you need a quality irrigation system. So the heart of this grant is to finish the course. We've done the north and the south ends. We want to finish the middle piece, reconfigure those holes, improve the experience for the player. We have an estimate from the golf course architect. Our budget for this phase 3 is $348,000. Excuse me. The DEM rec grant will pay up to 80% of that. So I would ask in the grant that we ask for the full 80%, and that would be $278,000. So the town would be responsible for a match, which could be through cash and in-kind services of approximately $70,000. So it'd be 20% of the course. And incidentally, I can go through all the numbers, but the grant, we've done pretty well as far as the overall cost and what the grants have paid. We've been pretty fortunate. We've found some grants that are that paid a significant, much more than half.
So Ed, a couple of things. First,
Yeah.
This has been an outstanding success, and it's another great example of the hard work and efforts that went into it, that you've put into it, Diane, that you have put into it. The administrator and the efforts that are done. There's a lot of heavy lift that you can't see on this paper, and this council's aware of it. So outstanding job on
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
2 is that this is a win-win, and I think we said this when this was in front of us going back, is that not only water quality is greatly improved, but there's an opportunity for recreation out there. And you mentioned our rec department, and it also includes our senior citizens and just people who want to play.
Right.
And staying in town. It's another opportunity to stay in town. So I think it's very appropriate. I absolutely support it. It's the last piece of the puzzle, if you will. I would say that there's a lot of things that come in front of this council like this that we never see the fruition on. So it's for me to say yes to it. I want this council to be able to have an opportunity when it's done, and along with the public, of course, to see it. And we can talk about moving holes around and all of that, but to actually see it in play and see the hard work and efforts.
I'd be happy to lead a tour or take anybody out there anytime you
Perfect.
want. If you're interested in taking a walk and seeing what we've done so far, I'd be happy to show you any day. Yeah, just about.
Almost any day.
Yeah,
right?
almost.
Council?
It's a good project that, and we are, as usual, always very lucky to get grant money. And I think it's great that just in the nick of time, a recreation grant comes along. So
Magical.
that is really good. So I would move that we approve the project. And, knowing that is us committing the 20% match, which I would assume is probably going to be mostly some sort of cash match as opposed to in kind, because, I'm not sure that you guys are going to be out there digging the holes or anything like that. So, but I think that's a great opportunity and I hope we get it.
Is there a second
I'll second the motion.
discussion?
I just want to say, I think this is a fantastic project. And I also noticed like Tupelo was always flooded. It was always a issue. And I think this irrigation's got to be helping with all that now that you've done a lot of that mitigation or it's moving towards there. So it's like going to help the infrastructure down there as well. And then also why it was a sad golf course and now it's going to be like an awesome golf course. So, and we do things well here. So it's a great project.
Yeah, I gotta say, congratulations to you guys for shepherding this through and for all the leadership that was kind of behind it the whole way. And I think that it could be like a model for the rest of the state, I think, in terms of the way that some of the siloed thinking has been broken down, where you're taking water quality and you're integrating it with recreation and you're finding funding sources to do things in that way. So I just hope that others are going to see what you've done here and are going to be able to take some of these ideas to their own communities, because this water quality issues, they don't know man-made boundaries. So when other communities, do things to improve their water quality, it helps us as well. So I'm glad to see that you guys are leading the way here, and I'd love to do anything that, we can help with that. So.
Thank you.
I guess I'm with them.
You are.
No.
Either
haven't-
that or you don't like golf, one of the two.
I
So-
don't, but that's okay. But I appreciate the ones that do like golf and certainly provide the opportunity. I mean, I volunteer at some of the golf tournaments as a side thing, and I've enjoyed it to see people actually be out there and having fun and really, obviously. So where's this golf course located again? No, just kidding. Okay.
It's in Bristol, a little up the road.
No, I'm in full agreement with all the statements that have been made. I mean, I know when I said there that this was always a concern and we needed to do something about it. And it's nice to see that you folks have picked up the ball, you've carried it on, and you've done a great job. In terms of in-kind service, I heard what Councilor Perrella said in terms of you're not going to go out there and dig holes and so forth. However, the time that you do spend in preparation for the grant and other things will count as in kind.
Yeah,
So I can see, and you have dedicated quite a bit of time to this project. So I'm sure there's something they can carry forward.
Yes.
So thank you.
Okay.
So we had a motion made by Mary, seconded by Tim, to authorize the grant, including the up to 20% match, and we thought up to about approximately $70,000.
Correct.
I'm doing quick math on that, right?
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I did that.
All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
one moment.
Oh,
I'm
Wait,
sorry.
one moment.
Mr. Chairman, I just thought I'd be remiss if I didn't make a couple of comments. I know I've been advocating for this project, but
Yes, you have.
you've touched upon most of the important aspects of the project. This is an estuary. What you see at the golf course on the south end ends up at Silver Creek. So if you look at the map there, or the design, you can see all that green area to the south, to your right. That was reverted back to nature. So that's now essentially a preserve, and it's a habitat. And when we talk to the designers, what we're trying to bring is the public out into nature. So where this was a lot of mowed lawn and steel buildings, you now have more an estuary with some really good points of interest. And I normally we would say, why are we investing? We're not investing a huge amount of money into this, but the benefits, we're hedging a lot on all of the benefits. It is an industrial park, and we have some great manufacturers and high-tech manufacturers. We have visitors from all over the world that come and visit us here in Bristol, and it just adds an amenity. So I think it's an amenity to a business park. We're proud of the fact that this is in the middle of an industrial park. And I think going forward, we're going to continue to promote that business park every year. And as far as recreation, most of us here in Bristol learned how to play golf right at our golf course. So we're going to continue that. I know Tim Shore is working on a program, and his track record has been very good. Most recently with the basketball program, 51 kids just completed a youth basketball program that we haven't had in years. So he's excited about it. We're looking to get the youth there. In my daily contacts with people, I have a work group. They're asking when the golf course is going to open back up. That's the Thursday night league. And I have seniors too. Great place for seniors to walk. You don't need a cart at this. You can rent them. You can rent one, but you don't need a golf cart. You can actually walk the course and finish it in about an hour and 10 minutes. So I think it's a terrific little golf course. I think we're going to be real proud of it. And the last thing I want to say is Ed did put out an RFP for a new operator. We may go with the operator that had it in the past, or we may get somebody new, but we're going to have a very good outline. We have it already of what's expected at our new, essentially small corporate golf course. So we're really excited about it. And thank you for recognizing all the benefits that it's going to add to the area.
Some great
It is.
additional points, Mr. Administrator. Thank you. Yes. I don't think we could take any more good news. So is there any other comments on this? No? Okay. Hearing none other, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
and the
very
best of luck.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is J1, and this is RFP 966, and this is for the on-call carpentry services. We received the bid opening was today at noon. We received 2 bids, one from Westway Construction with an hourly rate of $68.22, and one from NAPCO Inc. and the hourly rate of $127 per hour.
Motion to refer to the town administrator to act in the best interest of the town.
Second.
Motion made by Tim to refer to the administrator, seconded by Tony. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is J2, and this is RFP 967, and this is the on-call masonry repair services. Bid opening was today at noon. We received 3 bids. The first bid was from John Pacheco Masonry Company in the amount of $70.57 hourly rate. The second one was from Dubon Masonry Construction LLC with the hourly rate of $105. And the last one was from NAPCO Inc. With the hourly rate of $118.
Make a motion to refer to the town administrator to act in the best interest of the town.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to refer to the administrator. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is J3, and this is RFP 968 for the on-call interior and exterior painting services. We had a bid opening today at noon. We received 3 bids. First bid was from Westway Construction in the amount of $59.32 for an hourly rate. The second one was from Dubon Masonry Construction Inc., and that was for $95 for an hourly rate. And the third one was from NAPCO Inc. in the amount of $111 hourly rate.
Motion to refer to the town administrator to act in the best interest of the town.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to refer to the administrator. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is K1, and this is Alan Klepper from the Barrington Director for the Bristol County Water Authority, and this is the monthly report for October.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to receive and file. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is K2, and this is the Bristol County Water Authority, and this is in regards to the 2021 construction update.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to receive and file. Just taking a moment, we did get some correspondence from BCWA recently about they're doing a lot of work around town. Obviously, we all know it by some of the chief is nodding his head right now. His department knows it very well. A lot of work happening around town, particularly in Bristol. And I think it pertains to this. It's a new pumping station going right next to the tower on the corner of Tupelo Street.
Yep.
A lot of that work, including I remember San Francisco Drive in particular, water pressure there being in almost non-existent. So these efforts should make an improvement, not only there, but that is the first place that I thought of. So it was much needed. Speaking very plainly, our water rates are quite high. So to pay such high water rates and not have the service in areas like that must have been sorely frustrating or is sorely frustrating. And to have these things improved is also wonderful. So,
And the great thing about this project, particularly, Mr. Chairman and my colleagues, is that it's supposed to improve the water pressure in town. So, which we have low water pressure.
we do in a lot of areas.
So hopefully we'll see some improvement there.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
So Chairman and members of the council, next item on the agenda is L1, and this is Town Solicitor Michael Arcillo, and this is in regards to 57 Franklin Street. This is a release of right of first refusal.
This was a strange one.
This was a different
Very,
one.
yeah.
So back in May of 1998, the town found that it was called the old Hayman School, located at 57 Franklin Avenue, was no longer of use to the municipality. And so we put it out to bid, and I believe there are about 5 bidders. The town sold it for $85,000 to a Mark Bosco. And the town, we did something very good when we sold it. We put in that deed a right of first refusal. The thought being that if Mr. Bosco indicated when he purchased the property that he was going to restore the building, turn it into a residence, et cetera, we wanted to be sure that that actually happened. And so a right of first refusal was contained in the deed, giving the town the right to get the property back if in fact it was ever sold. Well, here we are, 2021, the property is being sold for $880,000.
Wow.
And
It's an extra zero at the end. isn't
I
it?
know.
Good for him.
23 years, they have
Good for him.
10 times the amount of money back.
Yeah, it's a nice investment.
pretty wild what's
Yeah.
happened to real estate.
Yeah.
So it's on your agenda this evening because you do have the right to match that offer and buy it. Or my recommendation is that you authorize the town administrator to release the right of first refusal, exercising your right not to purchase the property.
A so moved would be
I
appropriate.
was so moved, that's what that we authorize the administrator to refuse the first refusal or to
Waive.
give up our right to first.
Sign the
refusal.
release of the right
Right,
of first
sign the
refusal.
release, yeah.
I'll second that. And I mean, considering everything else that we been trying to do, it only makes sense that we refuse that.
So we had a motion made by Mary, seconded by Tony to say no. I'm paraphrasing. Is there any other discussion? Oh, no kidding. Hello.
Mark Bosco and myself bought that
Oh,
house
oh, wow.
23 years ago, and it's really sad to let it go.
Could you come up to the microphone?
Oh.
You didn't expect me to say that,
No,
right?
I didn't.
If you could state your name and
Yeah,
address for the record.
I'm Wendell Legiscu, and Mark Bosco and I were married at the time that we bought the house, and
And you live there currently?
I live there currently, and I'm turning 70 soon, and I just feel like I need to downsize, but it's been an amazing home in an amazing town, and it's really sad and hard to give it up, but thank you.
My dad
Thank
grew
you.
up on 69 Franklin Street, which is just a couple of houses down. My brother and his wife still own the home.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful area.
Yeah, it
So-
is. It's the best. Yeah. So I feel very blessed that it's been mine for 23 years, but it's time.
I'm sorry that the investment did not work out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Thank you. Thank you very
No,
much.
thank you for
Any other
sharing.
discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I don't have anything else.
So because of all the things that we can't do, if I could just have a motion to add discussion about Thanksgiving. I feel so silly asking such a question.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Just a moment to say, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I've talked to my colleagues first, and then the colleagues in front of us, and then of course the people of Bristol and your friends, your family. And if you have the opportunity, have a moment, there's a lot of people that, actually, I want to make this a positive. There's a lot of wonderful organizations in town who focus on Thanksgiving. One, and it's not the only one, is the Elks that comes up with food baskets. I know our own departments will come up with food baskets. If you have an opportunity to give to those organizations, or just do it yourself, or invite someone who is not necessarily with family or friends this year over to your home to celebrate, take advantage of that opportunity. That is, I'm going to quote Halsey, shipshape and in quite Bristol fashion. Anyone else?
That was very nice. Yes. I would like that to that St. Mary's, you do a wonderful job every, they've collected, I forget the number. I'm not even going to try to.
400.
Yes.
Close to around 400.
And they do a wonderful job. All those volunteers that invest the time to collect all the goodies, in bags and eventually get delivered, to the food pantry. So Yeah, it is that time of Thanksgiving. It's that time of the year where we all should be very appreciative for all that we have, the health, the family, and all of that, So definitely, I wish the best, safe Thanksgiving. It's very important. And also, don't forget, we have Veterans Day coming up tomorrow as well. So take some time to observe and thank one of our vets as you see them around town.
I also just mentioned that to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving as well, but also I think the weekend before, the Friday and Saturday before Thanksgiving, so I guess that would be like, yeah, that's not this weekend. No, not this weekend. And a weekend from now, I think it will be the the prelude to Christmas, where the stores are open and different things are happening on Friday evening and Saturday in downtown. So please mark your calendar, try to come down for that as well.
Yeah.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody as well. And it'll be a different Thanksgiving, I think, than it was last year. I think that it'll be a time where we can all reflect a little bit about how it's important to be back together again. And I just also hope that when everybody's out there, if you're out there the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, if you're out there having a good time and you're doing that, just be safe. Be safe out there on our roads. So.
Yeah, I just want to echo the same thing. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. We're climbing out of this pandemic. We're still kind of in it. So be appreciative that we're still around to enjoy it, and just be safe and have a good night.
Mr. Administrator?
Tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., we're going to meet the Veterans Council in the War Garden on the side of the Burnside Building for a brief ceremony to memorialize Veterans Day and thank our veterans. And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving, and we certainly have a lot to be thankful for. Thank you.
I'll leave it with this. I'm thankful to be sitting next to all of you. So can we have a motion
You
to
too.
adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.